Here's the thing about your movie, why I made a curator's pick of the Hollywood Fringe Festival. Community, heart,
What's going on, people? This is the Film Review. We are the husband and wife team that review movies, music, culture, and whatever else comes to mind. I'm Crazy D.
I'm Tracy.
And welcome to the Film Review, movies, music, culture, politics, and society film magazine.
This is another great episode of the Film Review. We are the husband and wife team. We are the husband and wife team. We are the husband and wife team. Stay tuned. We're the husband and wife team. I'm Crazy D.
Tracy.
And this is the Film Review. Stay tuned. We got a lot to talk about. We are the husband and wife team that review movies, music, culture, politics, and society. This is the Film Review. Movies, music, culture, politics, and society. We're the husband and wife team. I'm Crazy D.
Tracy.
And we review movies, music, culture, politics, and society. Sunday at 5:30 on Crazon Dion page on Facebook. Live stream. The Film Review. Movies, music, culture, politics, and society. This is the Film Review. What's going on, people? This is another great episode of the Film Review. Movies, music, culture, politics, and society.
I feel like I'm in close enough.
We are your hosts. I'm Crazy D.
Tracy.
And we review, again, movies, music, culture, politics, and society. And do we have a good one for you today?
Yep.
A great one for you today. We are reviewing the Us movie.
Yep.
And we're asking, was it worth all the hype? And also, we are reviewing, we're talking about the Mueller Report.
Yep.
Now that it's out, should the Democrats move on? So let's start with
Us. Yep.
Okay. So if you're looking for, I'm going to do some population while I'm talking here, so excuse me for that. But if you're looking for the film to be like another Get Out, it's not that, right?
Well, it's a different storyline.
Yeah. If you're looking for it to be, something that's another message that has to do with society and all that, maybe, but maybe not. Don't go to it for that. If you're looking for it to be,
Yep, it's up to your interpretation of
that's
it.
right.
Which is what art is, right?
But if you're looking for a film
Right.
that is very entertaining and very suspenseful and very unnerving at the same time, then Us is the movie for you. So let's back up a little bit and let's talk about how Mr. Peel described it himself on an interview I heard.
Okay.
The film is about, what's going on, Michael Elliott? Thanks for chiming in, watching. The movie is about a mother of two who is married to her husband, but as a child she suffered a trauma, and she's in fear of this trauma happening again as she gets to her destination, and certain coincidences start to happen. Things that are uncanny start to happen. She believes that, something is out to get her, and it has to do with her previous trauma. as a child.
Right.
And so that's what the storyline is about, and that's how it unfolds. Now, if you're looking for the film again to be another Get Out, it is not another Get Out. We can just state that for a fact. If you're looking for it to be something where there's some great message necessarily to black people, like how Get Out was, which was talking about basically being replaced in the society, kind of like what's happening in real life with the invasion of the black body snatchers. It is not that type of film.
Yeah, because I knew it would be a different film. So it's different than Get Out. The storyline is different, which is great. Get Out was a really good film. This film is also a good film. So it's a great, it's a suspense thriller. It takes you on a ride, definitely.
It takes you on a ride.
It takes you on a ride. And then, like I was telling you, it's not one of those horror films that are predictable.
Well,
because this movie is definitely a suspense thriller horror, right?
Well, it's a suspense thriller, and Get Out was a horror suspense.
Yeah, so this film right here doesn't, it's not predictable at all, which is good, because most scary movies are predictable, but this one definitely takes you on a ride, and it was a pleasant surprise, and the acting is really, really good. Lupita did an excellent job, as well as the entire cast was great. But if you haven't seen it, you definitely have to go and see it.
Okay. So let's talk about our adventures in going to see the film.
Oh.
So we went to go see, the early screening,
Right.
but when we got to the theater of choice,
Right.
they said there was a corrupted file.
Right.
And they were giving back refunds
Right.
or vouchers for you
Right.
to come see the film later. So automatically I thought, the fix is in. So I came back and got on my Instagram, and I started to connect with Mr. Peele to let him know, Jordan Peele, to let him know that, this is going on, and, get this corrected, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was a kind of a fiasco, because we would have had the review done
Right.
already.
Yeah.
All right.
Last week, right?
Yeah. So corrupted files, right? So we finally get a chance to see the film, but your boy here, he's doing associate producing on March Madness. So, my schedule, that's why we're coming so late, because, I just got back from doing March Madness and, associate producer. So when you see that ad where it says you can watch it on all your different devices, I'm one of the associate producers to make sure that what you're seeing is the correct thing that you're supposed to see. So your March Madness experience on your computer, on your iPhone, on your iPad, on your cell phone, or any other device, your Xbox, your PlayStation, looks good, and you're getting what you're supposed to be doing, because my degree of pedigree takes me beyond just filming and editing. And so, we're expanding that knowledge, right? So that's why we're coming to you later today, right? So we have to fit it in, because it's been a great adventure in doing something new. So now, getting that out the way. So we finally get a chance to sit down. We get our snacks, and we go into the movie theater, and we sit down, and we get cozy. And we see certain new trailers that came out. Well, not so much new trailers, but the second version. Did you notice that Jordan Peele's movie only needed one trailer, but that Pet Cemetery needed the second trailer to bring it to life, because I don't think anybody was really going to see that film because the trailer wasn't that good, and I thought it was going to be the little boy again, but this time it's the little girl. For anybody who remembers the Pet Cemetery story.
Yeah, this new trailer is a lot better.
A lot better. Okay, so we cozy on in, and if you watch many of the interviews that they've been talking about us, you'll see that people talk about different clues that are in the film, right? And I picked up on it in the first 15 minutes of the film. I picked up on what was happening. Now,
hey, Franklin.
Hey, what's going on, Franklin G? So, thanks for chiming in and watching. So we picked up on I picked up on what was happening, and I looked at my wife and I said, da 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 da. And then as the movie went on, and then it got to the end, and that was pretty much what it was. But we're not going to give any spoilers because you do have to go see the film. Now, again, if you're looking for us to have some great social message, pro-black message, it is not that film. I would say that it's a cross between a suspense thriller and a zombie apocalypse. Would you agree with that? Somewhat. Except for you leave a zombie.
It's pure great entertainment.
That's right. It's entertainment.
But it's up to interpretation, because there are some social messages.
I mean, you could say that it has to do with the homeless.
Well,
you could say I'm not giving it away. This is not about.
But it's a good film.
You can say, I'm talking about what is the social commentary on it. You could say it's about the homeless. You could say it's about, well, he said this is about the haves and the have-nots. Jordan Peele.
Okay.
He said it's about the have and the have-nots.
Okay.
And the family aspiring to be,
right,
living next door to the Joneses. Right. Not the black Joneses, if you can understand what I mean, right? So you could take it that way,
right,
but to me, it is just great, a great, pure, entertaining suspense thriller.
Yeah.
It is something where, for once,
right,
I'll say, just watching it, just my opinion looking at it.
Yeah.
Let's say behind the veil. Okay. Just my looking at it, it is the first time that when you go to the theater, and you can go to the theater as a black person, where there's a black cast,
right,
and it's not beating your head
right,
over some kind of social issue.
Right.
It's not that. For once, it's a movie like you would go see a European American movie, and it's just about the plot.
Right.
It's about the plot and the through line of the film, and it doesn't have anything, in my opinion, to do with any social commentary at all, where it has to do with black people.
It was entertaining.
Yeah, that's right. Very entertaining. A fresh air. But Jordan Peele, because his first film, Get Out, did have that commentary. Right. He'll play along with you in the build up to it. So now, is Us movie worth all of the hype? That's the question for tonight. Is it worth all of the hype? Well, let's break it down. Okay, we kind of talked about the acting.
Right.
Lupita's acting, excellent.
Right.
Excellent. You've seen the preview, so you know that they're looking at themselves, or you're looking at doppelgangers, people who are, even Jordan Peele said this in an interview, so this is not a spoiler, and you see this in the trailer. So you're looking at doppelgangers. Right. You're looking at us. You're looking at, they're looking at themselves, right? Which is horrifying. Right? Right. But Lupita's acting as the mother and then the doppelganger. Yes. Incredible. Yeah. I mean, when you say that you'll sit there and you will look at her and see her range, right?
Yeah.
To be able to be both people in the acting aspect. Incredible. Mr. Duke, his work as the husband, both sides, excellent. The two children, I mean, especially the daughter.
Yeah.
I mean, she played that part.
She did.
She played that part as the doppelganger.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, she did.
You know, and it's incredible. We want you to go to the theater, so we're not going to reveal any names.
And the son too, because
no. Yeah.
Well, because when I saw the son, just now thinking about it, when he was in front of the other little boy, you don't even think of them as being the same person. The acting was so good. And then there's one scene, so I'm not gonna give it away, with the son, and after the film I said I think that was like one of my favorite scenes in the film, with the son had to do.
Right.
Yeah,
the son art.
He matured a lot in the film.
They
both did, right?
Yeah. What you find is, at first they are one way,
just children,
and just children, but then they grow up
quickly
and advance. Something happens and they have to go after it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They have to go after it because it's no way that they're letting anything happen.
Yeah.
They have to go after it. So something happens, right?
Yeah. Hi, Diana.
Hey, thanks for chiming in and watching. Miss Sapphire Cook. Thanks for chiming in and watching. So her acting, the children's acting, Duke's acting, just excellent, right?
Yeah.
The story, the nugget of the story and how it's told through her remembering in flashbacks to remember the trauma that she suffered, right?
Yeah.
And the way that they matched the little girl,
right?
Her as a little girl to her daughter.
Oh, good job.
That's beautiful. You could see that would be her daughter. The resemblance is great.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So, all of that's great. The through line of the story, what it's telling you, excellent. The cinematography on it, the way that he opens up and he lets you know, he opens up in the past, but he lets you know through visual what year year it is. I mean, it's beautifully shot. The story is told through images in the very beginning, and that's what film is. For people who don't know, stage is more dialogue. You have to fill in more, right? I thought Denzel Washington did a great job with the one film with Viola Davis, where he came from off the stage. Fences, right? Where that was more dialogue than most films have, but it was well put together. Film is more about the visuals, and then the dialogue kind of tells story. Because remember, film started out silent, and then they would type in the words for you to see in the next frame, and then it would go back, right? So film is about the images. So the color cast, the way that he shoots images, beautifully done. The cinematography, beautifully done.
The music was nice.
The music,
excellent.
All of that, excellent. It moves the story along.
It does.
Right. Now, here's where. So all that is 10. 10. The rating that, in my opinion, that it should get doesn't have to do with how good it is. It has to do with American audiences, the ending is going to shock you. I mean, it's going to shock you, right? But American audiences like to have great endings that do not cause you to have conflict about what's happening, right? What happens at the end of the film. Like, have you ever watched those films where they leave it and you don't know what happened? Next thing you know, there's the credits rolling and you like, well, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
What happened at the end of what happened to them at the end of the film?
Yeah.
And no one knows because they cut it and they cheat you out of it. Okay, that's not this film. Okay, you get a conclusion.
Yeah, you do.
And you're rooting.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You're rooting, right? I mean, you find yourself rooting, right? Then the twist is thrown at you. The twist is not thrown in the middle of the film, right? Or 2/3 of the film.
Right.
The twist is thrown at you at the end. It is a beautiful, theatrical, or not a theatrical technique, but it's a beautiful cinematic technique that Jordan Peele uses to put this twist in the film. And it left the audience, because we sit there and we watch the audience too, and we sat there, watched the credits, and we watched the people file out of the theater. Now again, this doesn't have to do with how good the film is, but it has to do with you are shocked and you are left perplexed. Would you say that?
Yeah.
You're left perplexed because you're like, damn.
And you'll be talking about the film.
You'll be talking about it
in the theater, once you're in the car, hours later at home.
You'll be talking about it the next morning.
Yeah.
It's just something that it's gonna mess you up.
Yeah.
Okay? It's gonna mess you up, and it's like people like concrete endings and they like to see something one way or the other, right?
Although it was a suspense thriller.
Yeah.
For me, the horror was there for me too. It's a little scary for me because I kind of didn't sleep well.
But if you think this film is like Get Out, like a horror film,
it's got a little bit of horror.
Is it worth the? It's more suspenseful. You know how you have a suspense killer that they kill, but it's not really horror, but it could be horrifying, but it's not horror. Yeah, that's kind of what this is, right? Yeah. But also what you find out in the first 30 minutes of the film, when the doppelgangers begin to come, you find out something about the doppelgangers that you say, oh, well, you just have to see the film. Listen. Yeah. So it will leave you perplexed.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give the script writing, the acting, the story, the music, the lighting, all of that is a 10.
Yeah.
Right?
The makeup and costume.
The makeup and the costume designing. Excellent.
Because you were able to tell the difference.
You were able to tell the difference. The actors being able to contort their bodies and make them different. Yeah. Beautiful. That's part of the acting thing. Yeah. But the twist is going to twist you up. And this is why I'm conflicted about the film as far as that's concerned, and the rating doesn't have to. It makes you think, and it's a new way. He came up with a new way of telling a story,
which is
where the twist is at the end of the film, and you're left like, what?
Yeah,
and you feel. I'll say you feel what the son feels. Yeah. Okay, that's what I'll say. I'll leave it at that. So what would you rate the film?
You know what? After the breakdown of this film review,
I already went through other stuff, which is strictly on the film at the end, and we can tell by how the people worked out what's going to be.
Yeah.
Is it what you thought it was? First of all, is it what you thought it was going to be?
No.
I
thought it would be good, but
no. You thought it would be good, but did you think that
like the twist? It turned out to be different than what I thought, but not in a bad way, a good way. Because, like I said, thank God it's not a predictable film.
The way it was billed as if it seemed like it was going to be a horror slasher film, right? Where they were getting slashed and they were running for their lives, right? But what I'm saying is, but it's come to find out, it's a suspense thriller, which is different. So out of the
10, so I would give it a really good score, like an 8. An 8 is really good.
Okay. So for me, now, not that we already went through all the different steps, beautiful filmmaking, but it's just American audiences, because I'm a ADOS, American Descendant of Slaves, and when we go to the movies, we like to have good endings to films. You don't want to be conflicted, and you're looking at the characters on the screen, which is beautiful, but it's something that it's going to have to grow on people. And that's why myself, I have to give Us movie a 6. Right? Because it's something that he exposed, he brought something new to cinema, I believe. Because I don't know if I would have to go through some of the French filmmakers and see if they did it, right? But I believe that this twist that's in this film, that's at the end of the film, he's brought something new that will have to grow on audiences, because you know there's going to be a lot of copycatters now that are going to be coming out trying to dish out the same type of situation to the people, the same type of thing. So I have to give it a 6. So that's Us movie review. And was it worth all of the hype? It's a good film, but they hyped it as if it was a horror film. That's how the hype was,
Well, it was horrifying.
What makes a great filmmaker is that he's going to do something new, but he had to use the way he cut the trailer. He had to use it of making people remember somewhat of Get Out, right, as he moved forward with this doppelganger story, right? And so that's why I give it a 6. But go see the film, because it is a great film.
Yeah, it's a good
but
film.
It's just the twist.
And I give it an 8. I would definitely see it again.
It's worth seeing again. But in the first 15 minutes of the film, I figured out what was going on, and then everything else built around what was going on, and then I was the end of the film happens, right? And then so go see the film. It is worth seeing. You will be entertained, but don't think of it as something that's going to give you some great message about black people. This is just purely for entertainment, and then you can make up things if that's what you want. But for once, we have a film which is purely for entertainment purposes only. All right? No big message there, just what it is, right? No message about global warming, no message about any of the other things that you would think about that are pressing, nothing like that. So now, if you've been watching the news, you know that the Mueller Report came out, right? And the Mueller Report came out, and when it came out on Friday, it talked about how he wrote a letter And he said that he recommends no more prosecutions of anyone as far as collusion is concerned, or or obstruction of justice. He felt that there was no need for any more of that, right?
Right.
And the Democrats are not willing, to me, to let this go. And my thing is, should the Democrats move on? And I believe that the Democrats should move on. And this is why. He released the report. Now today, AG Barr released a summary to the Congress. And it said that Mueller did not find any collusion as far as Trump was concerned, but he couldn't rule out that Trump didn't participate in obstruction of justice, but he can't prove that Trump participated in obstruction of justice. And always remember, people, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove in a court of law, right? So his family is totally exonerated because they didn't say they wanted to bring them in, right? Trump, it appears, it seems to be totally exonerated because he didn't bring any charges up to him, right? Up on him, right? And they say that Mueller is a honorable guy. But then when you think about it, Mueller has a wife, and the district attorney, assistant district attorney of New York, has a wife. And after he finished the Michael Cohen prosecution, he stepped down and he said he wanted to spend more time with his family, right? And then you would say, when you realize and you really extrapolate out and you pull out and you look at all the moving pieces, Democrats and Republicans who are rich all walk around in the same circles. They have the same social circles, right? Because remember, Trump was a Democrat for so long, until President Obama got in office and he switched over and he had always said that if he was a Republican, he could probably win because Republicans are dumb. I mean, it's on video, right? So they are in these social circles, right? So the district attorney of New York, and so his wife is like, our friends don't want to associate with us anymore. And I'm sure that Mueller was getting the same pressure, outside pressure from his wife. Not to mention his friends who are Republican, and his friends who are Democrat. And he was like, is this worth losing your social status over? Or is it best to say that I did the best that I could? And this is just my opinion on it, right? And so, not to lose your social circle and to keep your significant other happy, you would just go on and make the best of it, and then come out and say, well, I'm not going to interview the children, I'm not going to do all that because Trump is in those same social circles that my wife likes to go around and we go around in. So common sense would tell you that maybe the report wouldn't be good. And the Democrats and the media kept talking about it. And it's just like when Trump came down the escalator in 16. And he said that when he said what he said, I said, he's going to be elected. I said, for all those months when they were talking about Mueller, I was like, he's taking him a long time to bring the report out. Hey, what's going on, Jess Flo? Thanks for chiming in. It's taking him a long time to bring out the report. And I'm like, they're hanging their hat and hanging their hopes on him. And you know what's gonna be found out? I said this to you, right? I said it to you last month. I said there's not gonna be any collusion found, because if it was, he would have brought some indictments, right? He would have brought the son up. He would have brought the daughter up. I said he hasn't brought the daughter up. He hasn't brought the son-in-law up. The devil's son-in-law up. They haven't brought him up.
Right.
So I said, there's not going to be any indictment. And sure enough, he said that. Now, the Democrats don't want to let this go. And I think this could be the shortest reign of Nancy Pelosi that you could possibly ever see. They need to get to doing other things. Trump won this one, okay? For all the people who thought they were going to have Trump out in 2 years, I told them back then, I said, it's something about fighting for your name, because your name is everything. And I said, if people don't understand Trump and about his name, and he's going to fight tooth and nail for that game. So he's won this one. And he's going to be able to come out and he's going to be able to pitch a bee about it and say fake news. He's going to be able to say that it was a witch hunt, that it was an illegal witch hunt, you know, and it was just a waste of taxpayers' money. He's gonna keep on pushing that the Democrats don't like Jewish people and they're gonna lose some of the Jewish people's vote. And who do the Democrats really have to run against them? The Democrats, for years, since I've been voting, I started voting with Clinton, right? That's when I started voting. The Democrats, since I've been keeping up with politics, that was when my eyes were open. The Democrats have traditionally been weak, right? They've been weak since they stopped being Dixiecrats. That's the truth. So for all those who thought that Trump was going to be out in the first couple of years, I said, no, he's going for the full duration. For all those who believe that Trump's base is turning against him because of the polls. Didn't they do the polls before during the election?
And those people aren't honest on those polls. They say what they think they want, you to hear.
Right.
Right. So, and then they vote totally the opposite of what they say they're going to do. And then it just seems like you turn on the news and these reporters, they basically helped put Trump in office because he was on television.
24/7.
They pushed him more than they did Hillary.
They did.
The media.
Hillary was back at her daughter's house checking out the granddaughter. Remember when she wasn't supposedly not sick or ill, right? So you've got this going on, right? And didn't they use the polls before? And they said, and the only person who had it right was Silver. And they kicked him off of TV. Yeah. And they haven't had him back. He said that Trump was going to win the election. Yeah. Anybody could see that Trump was going to win the election because, one,
Trump's eyes was just about on everybody's line.
Right. Trump did the campaigning in the states that were necessary for him to win the Electoral College. I wish people would stop saying that he didn't win the popular vote, because the popular vote means nothing. It's the Electoral College. So he went and campaigned in those states where the Electoral College is, right? And he won those states. Okay. Trump is going for these 4 years, and the Democrats are going to keep pushing. They need to be working with him now to do some infrastructure, to rebuild America, right? Go along with, push along now because it's over. Anytime the media kept telling them everything, this is what Nixon did. If Trump isn't a reader, he's a TV watcher. Right. So they were giving him all the information. They were feeding him the information. Well, remember, they always have the Deep Throat, the people who exposed and wrote Deep Throat. I forget their two names. They always have them on TV, and they're talking to him, and they talk, Nixon did this. Well, we'll just not do what Nixon did. Mm-hmm. It's common. It's just common sense. That's what you would do, right? So Trump is in there for these 4 years, and then come the 5th year, it's over, and then he's gonna get reelected, people. I mean, I could just say that because the Democrats don't have anyone, right? And those people are not telling the truth in the polls. And the people like what he's doing, because for goodness sakes, he moved the capital of Jerusalem, right? He put it in Palestine, right? Is that what that was? They wanted to move it.
And
he moved it.
Right.
He's keeping his promises. And any promises that he can't keep, he'll say, well, it was obstruction. Right? So it's sad to say, for all those people who thought that the Mueller report was going to be a smoking gun, no. For all those who think that the Democrats' investigations was going to waste the taxpayers' money, because at this point it looks like they just don't like the man because he's not a politician. That's what it really boils down to. Who thought that was going to help, that's not going to help. For all those who are so messed up because his presidency has made your next door neighbor that you moved next door to truly show their true colors to you, like you didn't have to, you could have just watched Blackish and saw what the true colors of your neighbors who don't look like you really think about you moving into their neighborhood, right?
Yeah, because when you see the lines, you know, or when you see in people's windows the Trump signs, and you're like, oh, I didn't think that neighbor would be voting for Trump, but see, so the realization is, people, maybe people are just uncomfortable with the fact that, hey, hearts aren't changed by legislation and laws, right? So that's it. So should the Democrats move on? Yes, they should. And I'm ready to see non-lazy news.
That's right.
Because it's like it's easy for them to just stay on one story, the Russians and the collusion and the, okay, so that's fine, report that, right? But let that be like a segment.
Right.
But instead they give you a full hour of the same story, just various interpretations from various analysts, right?
That's right.
So instead,
right,
you know, instead of giving you information on other issues that's going on, and then you find out other things by way of social media, or Facebook or Twitter or something, and you find out that this black woman was hit upside her head with a gun multiple times a couple of days ago. That wasn't reported on the news.
Right.
A race crime, you know, by this, you know. So
when Obama was in office, every day you saw somebody going down. It was race porn.
Right.
I mean, really, it was.
The story with the little girl punched in the face by that adult man. I didn't see that on the news, social media.
See, I knew.
Start reporting some real news also. Stop being lazy news. The same issue. You're just gonna stick on the Mueller thing. What about other things that are going on in this country?
Because it makes them dollars, and so they really don't care. But listen, I knew that we were in trouble when they took Ted Koppel off for 2020.
It became entertainment
and
tonight.
became entertainment news.
Right.
First they put Martin Bashir on there, remember?
Oh, yeah.
And it turned into a sensationalized like kind of magazine, kind of like a TMZ, and that's pretty much what it is. There are no hard-hitting journalists in there. Like you take somebody like Joy Reid, used to be Joanne Reid, but you know she dropped that African thing to make it Joy Reid, right? She is not a journalist.
Melissa Harris was a journalist, but of course they got rid of her.
That's right.
And then you have Rachel.
Melissa Harris Perry was a journalist, right? Where she would have different segments, and she had all the way through.
Right.
But you stay on one thing, right? And you don't talk about. So there's certain people who are just talking heads that are not serious journalists. I think journalists should be on the beat first, right? And then become a certain age before they come on the television. You see all these new people popping up, and you like, well, where did you come from?
Melissa was very intelligent,
right?
Too. Just like Rachel. Rachel is a good journalist.
You know, but so it's like, where did you come from for us to take what you're saying, right? And so that's what it is. And so when you look at people, and then you look at AC, Anderson Cooper, he's not a journalist. Not really. You know what I mean? And who else do they have? Robin Roberts. She was a sportscaster.
Yeah. So they're more just
A figurehead. Even what's his name on the ABC?
Michael Strahan.
He was a football player.
Yeah.
I mean, who then was on in the mornings with that's like.
But that's why they're on Good Morning America,
Right.
which is an entertainment show.
But,
So that's fine.
but they're interviewing like they're journalists, right? And then you have that would be like taking old boy from off of American Idol,
right.
and making him seem like he's a journalist and put him on what's his name, Seacrest. It's like it would be like taking Seacrest and doing that. Like, I don't knock them; they're nice people, but they are really not journalists. And you can tell because a journalist, if they are akin to or like what the person is doing,
right,
they will still hit them with the hard questions to get clarity. Right? And not just be one-sided. Like the Jussie Smollett, when she was interviewing him, instead of hitting him, she went along with it. It's just like Oprah. Oprah, to me now, as I see her with the After Neverland, she's not a journalist.
Yeah, I think she's more. Those are just what reporters reporting what's on the what's that thing called? The machine that they read
on the scroll.
Yeah.
Right. On the timeline, on the ticker tape, or whatever we're calling it.
What's his name? Trump used to tease Obama for using it all the time.
The teleprompter.
Right.
That's right. They just read what's on the teleprompter.
Yeah, they report
Talking heads. So, we need some hard-hitting journalists to be able to go at him, right? And not all they do is laugh and ridicule him. That's nothing but entertainment.
Rachel goes at Trump, but her and I can't think of his name now. O'Donnell.
Oh yeah.
He's
O'Donnell.
a journalist,
and Trump never says anything about him.
He doesn't want to go.
He doesn't want to go anywhere near him. Those are journalists.
He doesn't say anything about Rachel either. He doesn't mess with the journalists.
Right. But the others, he will say something about.
Yeah, he'll mess with Don Lemon, say something about him or some of the others.
Chuck Todd, he doesn't say anything about Chuck Todd. He hasn't.
Oh, didn't he?
No, I don't think he said, because remember he cut Conway out.
Okay.
When she said something about alternative news, he cut out, and Trump never said anything about Chuck Todd.
Okay.
Right, so I mean, it's just certain people who are journalists. We need more journalists and less talking heads. People who are out there to ask questions and not try to ridicule and laugh. Ridiculing and laughing at Trump is not working.
Ari is a journalist.
Who?
What you think?
Who?
Ari with Moral Barnes.
Ari Miller.
The one who on Fridays when he has.
He's a lawyer.
Yeah, but a lawyer / journalist. He's better.
He came off of that. Remember, he came off of that hip show with the four of them, with the one woman who had ran for office, but they said she was too pretty, so she couldn't. No one would take her seriously. They would think she was a bimbo. And then they had Torrey up there.
Yeah, he's entertainment.
He's an entertainment interviewer. He's not a journalist.
Right. But Maury
he's
was
a writer,
the only entertainer out of that. I mean, a journalist out of that group. He does research.
Yeah, he does research. Or does his team do research?
I think he does.
But, so people, as we move forward, wake up. You're in for a whole ride, right? And you know how they're doing all this really
Van Jones is entertainment.
Yeah, he's entertainment. He's entertainment.
I mean, and they're good for entertainment.
And Don Lemon, I don't know exactly what Don Lemon is.
I mean, he goes... I like Don Lemon.
But I need to know his background. Was he a talking head?
But he's a journalist. I mean, it depends on his interest. If it's something that interests him, he'll really go in. It depends.
But then that's not what journalism is. Well, it's not if it interests you or not, you go get the story. It's called being on the beat. But
they got rid of Melissa really fast. As soon as Trump said he was winning, we knew then, we said, okay, they knew that Melissa was going to really, really, really go at Trump. But it's like at the time, the media was on Trump's side.
All of them.
Yeah.
Even though they said they
so
weren't.
they got rid of her.
They
real
got rid
fast.
of her. So, people, as we move forward through this and we look towards 2020, get ready, people. This is going to be a ride. And you know what? It's so entertaining. If it wasn't so detrimental for the country, it would be as Washington turns.
Right.
So anyway, this has been another great episode of the Film Review. Movies, music, culture, politics, and society. We are the husband and wife team. I'm Crazy D.
Tracy.
And we review movies, music, culture, politics, and society. And we'll see you the next time on the Film Review. This is another great episode of the Film Review.
We are the husband and wife team. We are the husband and wife team. We are the husband and wife team.
Stay tuned. We're the husband and wife team. I'm Crazy D.
Tracy.
And this is the Film Review. Stay tuned. We got a lot to talk about.
We are the husband and wife team that review movies, music,
Culture, politics, and society. This is the Film Review. Movies, music, culture, politics, and society. We're the husband and wife team. I'm Crazy D.
Tracy.
And we review movies, music, culture, politics, and society.
Sunday at 5:30 on Crazy on Dion page on Facebook. Live stream the Film Review. Movies, music, culture, politics, and society.
This is the Film Review.